Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to my lecturer Ustazah Norizan binti Othman and all my fellow friends. Today, me Nadia binti Muhammad Salikin and my group mate Nur Fakirah Atikah binti Abdul Karim, Aiman Amar bin Muhammad Rosli and Muhammad Sofi Nazmi bin Sanusi from group 8 would like to present our topic, which is COVID-19 vaccine halal or not under application Maxim 35 if permissibility and prohibition coincide, prohibition prevail, and the usage of credit card under application of 36, what is prohibited to take is also prohibited to give. So, first of all, I will explain about Maxim 35, which is izastama'al halal wal haram walabal haram. If permissibility and prohibition coincide, prohibition prevail. This maxim is related to the concept of halal and haram. Halal is anything that has been permitted by Allah, it including wajib, mandub, mubah and makruh, while haram is anything that has been prohibited by Allah. Haram, also known as act which the lawgiver has been demand to be avoided by a binding demand. Its avoidance carries a promise of reward, while its performance entails a treatment of punishment. This halal and haram not only applying on the things or object, but also the action of the human. In Al-Quran, Allah mentioned in Surah An-Nisa, verse 23, means your mothers and daughters have been made haram for you. Allah means that it is haram to marry them. And Allah also mentioned in the Al-Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 173, means He has only forbidden to you dead animals, blood, and flesh of swine. Allah means that it is haram to eat them. From the two verses above, the implication of the meaning is different based on the verse that Allah mentioned in the Quran. It shows that Allah command to us in the different of an act or different situation that we must understand. So, this maxim is applied when it difficult to determine either it halal or haram, and this maxim apply when it have two different evidence in the same situation. So, in applying this maxim, we should know the side effect of the action or the object are more obvious to lead the halal or haram. This maxim explains to us that in resolving a conflict between lawful and unlawful in a single act, in Maxim 35, which is if permissibility and prohibition coincide, prohibition prevail, this maxim provides a guideline in resolving a situation of uncertainty validity, where an act may be as likely to be valid as not because there is a conflict between permissibility and prohibition. It is difficult to determine which statement is relevant when it has halal from a certain angle and haram for another angle. Sharia give a primary consideration in unlawful aspect in this maxim. This is because Sharia prohibits things due to the harm they entails, and there are various halal means to achieve any objective rectified by the Sharia. There are two causes of ambiguity in this maxim. First, apparently conflicting evidence, and the second one is commingling of substance that are halal with the substance that are haram. Okay, before we proceed to the topic issue, we want to share with you a short video that we take from TikTok. So, take a look.
Sebab badan aku tak tercemar dengan kimikal-kimikal yang tak apa-apa. And aku dengar elok sihat je. Aku tengok kebanyakan yang vaksin kan, makin teruk. Kesihatan diorang berosot. Tapi aku elok sihat Alhamdulillah daripada awal PKP ke sampai aku tu bukan.
Okay, kita kena Okay, type of immunity. Kita ada dua type of immunity, satu aktif dengan satu pasif. Okay, dua-dua ada natural dengan artificial lah. Natural ni maksudnya bodoh ke apa rekod babi. Natural ni maksudnya badan kita yang produce ataupun artificial ni datang ni daripada luar, macam kita makan ubat macam tu. So dua-dua ada active immune dengan passive immune lah. Okay, lepas tu sebab apa kita ambil vaksin? Vaksin ni adalah artificial lah. Sebab kita ambil daripada luar, artificial. Okay, so kita boleh tengok artificial acquired active immunity. Okay, nampak ini adalah vaksin. First injection, nampak? Kita punya antibody naik gila babi, and then kita akan jatuh balik. Lepas tu ambil second injection, baru naik balik, barulah ni. Tapi dia akan hancur juga. So sebab tu kita kena ambil 3 dos, 4 dos. Dia ada period time 2-3 bulan. Sebab tu lah bodoh pun aja bayar babi.
Okay, before we proceed to our topic issue, so let me explain to you what is meant by COVID-19. COVID-19 disease is caused by a coronavirus called SARS-CoV-2. Symptoms are possible appear 2 to 14 days or 2 weeks after exposure to the virus. Symptoms that may be experienced are fever or chills, cough, breathing difficulties, muscle or body pain, headache, loss of sense of taste or smell. Next, what is the importance of taking COVID-19 vaccine? The COVID-19 vaccine is given to control the transmission of COVID-19 disease. When the more people get vaccinated, the more the population forms antibodies and further reducing the likelihood of more severe COVID-19 disease. Indirectly, it can protect at-risk groups who are not eligible to receive vaccination.
Next, we move to the issues of COVID-19 vaccine. Is it halal or haram? To overcome the problem of COVID-19 virus, the Malaysian government has provided an initiative to provide free vaccine injections. However, in government providing free vaccine injections to the people, there are also a handful of people who say that the COVID-19 vaccine that provided by the government was not halal and cannot be trusted for a certain reasons. People who do not trust the COVID-19 vaccine and not confident to this vaccine was called as anti-vaccine group. However, all the assumptions that made by this group that saying the COVID-19 vaccine was illegal and unreliable has no valid and true evidence and also a source. Therefore, the vaccine that given by the Malaysian government to its people is halal and legal according to the Islam. There is also evidence and legitimate sources that say that the COVID-19 vaccine is halal. Vaccine is permissible in Islamic perspective. According to the Dr. Abdul Rahman Abdul Shukur, concept of istihalah can also be applied in current fatwas that related to the issues of the legality of a vaccine. Istihalah is a natural process that gives the effect changing the law from haram to halal because it changes its substance, which is material from an illegal source that has changed its chemical structure and physical characteristic to another element and nature. Then the law is halal and pure. This is the view of Hanafi school and is agreed upon by the eminent scholars Sheikh Yusuf Al-Qaradawi and Sheikh Wahbah Al-Zuhaili. The vaccine is made of mRNA, which is a vaccine that does not use the live virus from COVID-19, and this vaccine was not involved any illegal elements. This situation is relief to all parties. So there is no claim that COVID-19 vaccine is made of illegal elements. Besides that, there are also a decision that issued by the special meeting of the MKI Muzakarah Committee, which convened on 3rd December 2020 and took a resolution that the law on the use of COVID-19 vaccine is a must and it must be taken by the government designated group. Next, there are several examples of mythos that told by anti-vaccine group about the vaccine of COVID-19. There are some things that are actually not true about the COVID-19 that have been spread by the anti-vaccine groups, which is the first one is the content of COVID-19 vaccine is unsafe and not halal. The second one is new technology, which is mRNA, are unsafe due to the short studies. Next, vaccine side effects, which is AstraZeneca, can cause blood clots as well as death. Then, vaccine injection will cause the magnetic field to the injection site. Next, the vaccine will make you sick and infected to the COVID-19. And the last one is the COVID-19 vaccine is completely ineffective against the new variant. Next is application of the Maxim. For the application of this Maxim with the COVID-19 vaccines issue, the permissibility item, which is the vaccine, was arisen the shubuhats because of the prohibited ingredients in the making of the vaccine. But there are evidence that have been clearly mentioned that there are no prohibited or non-halal ingredients in the COVID-19 vaccine that have been provided by the government of Malaysia. So, when commonly of substances that are halal or permissible with the substance that are haram or non-permissible, the effect of the unlawful or haram is not apparent in the lawful or halal. Therefore, there is no doubtful matter in this issue actually, and it is permissible for the COVID-19 vaccine to use as the protection for health during the pandemic of COVID-19. So overall, this Maxim was not applicable with the issue of COVID-19 vaccine, halal or haram, because there was clearly evidence which proves that the vaccine of COVID-19 is halal and permissible, which is there are no non-permissible ingredient in it. But if there was no evidence or proof to prove that the COVID-19 vaccine is halal and did not have non-permissible ingredient, this Maxim can be used to determine the status of the vaccine, whether it is halal or haram. Next, for our data collection, we have made a survey on Instagram story, which is we created a question and vote on Instagram social site about their opinions on the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine. So as we can see here, there are 39 respondents that have been answered our questions, and 9 out of the 39 respondents, they are still skeptical and still unsure that the COVID-19 vaccine booster dose are safe, even though the government has confirmed that the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine is safe. However, other 30 respondents, they already confident with the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine that given by the government. So I believe that the people that still not confident with the booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine because they afraid of the side effect of the booster dose. The last one for Maxim certified is conclusion. In conclusion, all COVID-19 vaccine that have been purchased by the government of Malaysia are halal and do not contain any porcine, which is pig, or bovine, which is cow, in the ingredients. So, the Malaysian citizens, especially Muslims, did not have to worry about the status of the COVID-19 vaccine. In this case, if vaccine is clean and contains pure material, then it is required to take the vaccination. But if the vaccine is made of unclean material, there are two ways to solve the problem, which is if there are other alternatives, then do not use the vaccines that is unclean, but is If there is no alternatives, then it is allowed because it is included in the emergency matter. Islam obliges its people to take the necessary steps to avoid contracting the disease, even preserving life, as it is included in one of the goals of Sharia. COVID-19 vaccine has been ijtihad as halal by muftis in Malaysia, including scholars at Al-Azhar University, Egypt, which requires vaccine injections in the interest of health and life.
Hi, Assalamualaikum to our beloved lecturer, Ustazah Norizan. My name is Aiman Ammar bin Muhammad Rosli, and today I would like to present my part, which is Maxim 36. In this video, we would like to explain on how this Maxim can be applied to our case. Before we go more further about our case, let me share a little bit of introduction to our Maxim, which is Maxim 36. Maxim 36 is one of the selected Maxim that are contained in legal Maxim. It is about what is prohibited to take, is also prohibited to give. Literally, the verb haruma means to be or become forbidden, prohibited and unlawful. Haram is an adjective derived from the verb. In Sharia terminology, it applies to every act that the lawmaker has strictly demanded to be avoided. Avoidance of the prohibited carries a promise of reward, while committing a prohibited act carries a threat of punishment. In this Maxim, riba will serve as an example. It is clearly prohibited in the Quran, although all of the Quranic prohibition on riba are directed at taking it. The Sunnah also make it clear that the one who gives the preparer of the contract and witnesses to it are all sinful. Next, we move to the exception for acts done for legitimate purpose to protect legitimate right recognized by the Sharia. Referring to Sharia, there is an exception to this kind of Maxim. Firstly, it is unlawful for people in official positions who receive salaries to perform their duties, to demand or accept bribes to do their job. However, scholars allow a person in urgent need to give such an official a present if this is the only way to secure his legitimate right, on the condition that it's not done at the expense of anyone else's legitimate right. Secondly, it's about when a person confronted with a dire need for financing for medical treatment is allowed to take a loan in which he pays riba if he does not find anyone willingly to give him a charity or an interest-free loan. There is two exceptions for acts done for legitimate purpose that are recognized by the Sharia. Next, we move for the authority of the Maxim. In the Quran and Hadith has clearly stated that help one another to do what is right and good. Do not help one another towards sins and hostility. This can be found in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse number 2. From the Sunnah, Anas ibn Malik related that Allah's messengers cursed 10 people with regard to wine, the one who squeezed the juice from the grapes, the one for whom it is squeezed, the one who the one to whom it transported, and the one who pours it, the seller, the one who consumes its price, the buyer, and lastly the one for whom it is bought. Thank you, that's all from me. Now I would like to pass to the next presenter to explain more further about how this Maxim can be applied to our case. Thank you.